As I said at the beginning of Mass, we hear Jesus talking to his disciples and to us, the disciples of this time and place. He says, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. And I think we know the Ten Commandments, but we have that concise way of reflecting on the commandments. Love God, love others as yourself. In this very surreal time in which we're living, I'm sure many of you, either at the time it happens or via the news, hear the updates from local officials, the governor of your state. Well, here in our state, we have Governor Cuomo. And I watch him just about every day. And sometimes I get a little, I heard that yesterday, Governor. But sometimes we need to be reminded of certain things, And our governor reminds us of any number of actions that are being requested that people take to protect not only themselves, but to protect others. And I think of the quote, the proof of our love of God, someone has said, is seen, observed in a sense, in our love for one another. It's easy to say, I love God. Who's going to fight with you about it? But we see it reflected in the life we live, in relationship to others. Several times in the past week, the governor has reminded people to wear a mask or a bandana. I often say we were asked in recent years, don't wear something on your face because you might be taken for a robber. You're going to do a robbery. I said, God help us. But anyways, the governor says to people, we're doing this out of respect for one another. Dare I say, love of one another? As the governor says, you sort of have to believe, this virus isn't, just like the common cold. It seems to be much, much, much more than that. And he says, it ain't just about you, whoever you are, whoever I am. It's about the other people. As we come to know God, we come to love our neighbor more in self-offering ways that demonstrate our love for God, and maybe masks is one of them. Maybe there's others in this time, at least for a time, that we're being asked to take extraordinary measures that have never probably been part of any of our lives for any amount of time. The suspension of public worship. Who would ever think we'd be told you can't go to church? But how do we deal with that? How do we continue to show our love of God and others while not being here? God bless you all and many, many other people who, in this church or other churches throughout the country and the world, have the Mass live streamed. Yeah, I know it's not the Eucharist, but the Lord does come to us and is present to us in many ways. Says the Lord, I'll send an advocate. The Spirit of God are in you too, and I am in you. We may be asked, and this is out of love of God and love of neighbor, sometimes, not all of us, to maybe self-isolate or to quarantine for a while, whatever that means. We do it out of love for other people. We tend to the sick. We support our first responders. We're there to listen to the person who's struggling in life with whatever, maybe the loss of a job, maybe struggling to pay those bills. We listen. Can we help? we help. We work remotely. We go to class remotely. How are we doing in that? Governor Cuomo yesterday said something about a lot of our state workers are working from home. He says, and I bet a lot of them aren't working at all. Don't know. We're asked to put on that mask. We're asked to social distance. Social distance. 6 feet. 6 feet. Last night I was reading Time magazine, the newest issue, and I came across a little side column article. And I said, this is unbelievable how it relates to what we're going through. Little article, small bit paragraph, like a sentence or two on 5 things. And the title was, Know Thy Dishwasher. I won't go through all over them. One of the things it did say, overcrowding. Don't do that in your dishwasher. But then it said, facing everything the same way. Said the author here, plates should face the center. We're going to resolve a lot of issues, I think, in people's homes today about this. Plates should face the center, where the water comes from. Items should fit together without touching. And then the last line is, social distancing matters in dishwashing too. Whoever would thought? Maybe as we think about this weekend, that call to love God and love neighbor, we remember the 1 John letter, chapter 4:20, that says, for whoever does not love a brother or sister whom they have seen cannot love God whom they've not seen. And so just maybe, for the love of God, wear a mask, social distance, stay safe, keep alert, keep watch.